So here's what we have today for fun, just to get an idea of why we care about how we raise our food, and where we raise our food, and whether we drink bottled water or not, is the earth. Behold. And many of you have probably seen this example before where an apple is used to represent the earth, so we're going to go through this kind of quickly, but this apple we're going to use to represent both how much land we really have and how much water we really have. And it'll be easy for you to see that even though you look around you and you think, why do we worry? We've got tons of this stuff. If we take our view back out and we actually look at the globe as a whole, we'll find out that we really don't have very much to deal with at all, so we're going to have to be pretty smart about how we use it. So the first thing that we're going to do with the earth is we're going to cut it in half. This is all water over here. And then we're going to cut that in half again. So we've got more water. So right away you can see that most of the earth is actually water, and what we have left here of the earth is the land that we're all living on. So we're going to cut this in half, and this part of the land that we just cut off, this is pretty much uninhabitable stuff. It's either way too rocky, or it's way too dry, or it's way too wet, it's way too cold. Whatever, we can't use it for anything else. This is what we have left, and we need to cut this into 4 pieces. We'll get back here on dry land to do this. But I'm going to take a sliver, and I'll reference this for later. Put it over here in the ocean, keep it out of the way. So we have our land. Remember, this is our land that we can do anything with, we can live on, and most of it we're going to use for housing, urban, the mall, you know, all that kind of stuff. Not going to really plant on it. This is the only land that's left that we're actually using for what we call arable land, or land that people can plant on. We have this 1/32 of an apple representing out of the entire earth the amount of land that we have available, arable land, to grow crops, to feed ourselves, do our biofuels, whatever we want to do. And if we really want to be accurate about it, what we have in reality is all we have is just the skin, just this amount. So this is all that we end up with out of the entire earth to think about in terms of growing our biofuels, feeding our people, performing all the functions that soil and earth should be able to do. And so that's why it's important to have people who are going to study biology of the soil, and why it's important what kind of practices we use to do our fuel. And then I want to get back to this little thing right here. Remember when we sliced this one off? When we sliced it off of one of these pieces of land, this is actually arable or potable water. This is actually potable water. It's the amount of water that we can drink. Remember, we threw all the rest of the ocean was out here, right? This we put in with the land, because this isn't all drinkable water. So this is the only amount of potable water that we have in the world. So why it's very important for us to pay attention to our water quality. So here we have the land, and here we have the water we can drink, and here we have the oceans. Remember the oceans. And for the most part, the oceans we can't get at and we can't do too much with. They can be a sink, but they can't do much else. But part of the ocean is still biologically active, about this much of it. And by biologically active, I mean this represents enough of the depth of water around the world of the ocean that light can get through it. If light can get through it, you get photosynthesis and algae and those kinds of biological activities. So that's what we've got out of all the ocean water that can actually do biological activity. And of that, just for fun, let's take a look at what part of it is North America. So around the North America coast, about 1/4 of that, or so that'll be a 32nd, I suppose, is what is all around the outside of our country, and this is the amount of water that's available to do photosynthetic activity. So you can see that even though you can look around you and it looks like there's tons of soil and tons of water, and it would just absolutely never be a worry, when you take your view out and you look at the earth as a whole, you find out that we are very limited in our resources. So it makes a lot of sense to pay attention to how we're going about using these in the process of our daily lives. That's it. Okay.